Lavancil, step forward, please.
Previously on Judge Judy, 28-year-old student Jerry Snodgrass wanted his dog Missy back from former girlfriend, 30-year-old nurse Laura Lavancil Vasquez. She's in love with the dog and wants to keep her. The judge decided that Missy should visit Jerry's home to see if she was comfortable with his other dogs. The visit was videotaped. Animal behaviorist Dr. Richard Polsky watched Missy interact with the other dogs during her visit. Jerry Snodgrass is suing his ex-girlfriend, Laura Lavancil Vasquez, for the return of his dog, Missy.
How have you been?
Okay. Hello again.
All right, when you were last here, we had gone through a substantial portion of this case. Very briefly, if my memory is correct, this is the dog an issue. You two had been together for a long time. During the time that you were together, you bought this dog. The dog was registered in your name. You claim it was a partial birthday present from her. In any event, the dog was registered in your name. When you broke up, you couldn't take the dog with you. The dog stayed with you for a substantial period of time. You now want the dog back. Is that where we are at?
Correct.
And what I had suggested was that we try some doggy visitations and see how they went. And in order to further assist me in making a decision, because I felt as if, listen, this is still a warm-blooded, smart creature of God, must have some feelings of its own about where she wants to live. Court authorized the use of an expert witness, and that's Dr. Roger Polsky. Is Dr. Polsky in the courtroom?
Yes.
Could you step up, please? Dr. Polsky, will you please give me a brief vitae, what are your credentials, where you were employed, where you went to school?
I'm currently president of a corporation named Animal Behavior Counseling Services located in West Los Angeles. The primary function of my business is to provide direct training and behavioral counseling services to owners throughout Los Angeles. I have a PhD in animal behavior.
From where?
From the University of Leicester, England.
Did you, at the court's request, attend a visit involving this little dog here?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell me what you observed?
At the defendant's home, I observed her dog in the backyard interacting with the other resident dog, which was a German Shepherd dog. And subsequent to that, I asked the owner to engage the dog, Missy, in certain exercises. And from that, I drew certain conclusions.
I'd like to hear them.
My assessment of Missy is that she fits the mold of a typical terrier, being a Jack Russell dog. She's spunky. I consider her a dominant dog. As a terrier dog, she's very strong-willed, and I believe she has a dominant role over this German Shepherd dog, who is probably 4 or 5 times her size. I also concluded that she is a very people-orientated dog. She's a kind of dog who needs to be with people. I also felt that Laura comes from a family where she was around dogs for her entire life. And she impressed me as a person who has a good understanding of canine behavior and the needs dogs require.
And anything else you want to add to that, sir?
I felt that Missy was comfortable in the presence of that home where Laura resided. I was impressed with the setup she had. It's a very typical terrier. It's a dog who needs people. It's a very strong-willed dog.
And from there, you went to the plaintiff's home?
That's correct.
Tell me what you observed, sir.
Laura showed up with Missy, and I requested that Jerry bring each one of his 3 dogs. There's 3 dogs that resided in the location where he was living. He was living in his parents' home. And Jerry was to bring each dog out singly so they encounter each other on the street. And after Jerry brought the first dog out, I instructed Laura to approach with Missy. And I studied the interactions between the dogs when they came proximate to each other.
Judge Judy continued.
Did you draw any conclusions as a result of what you saw with the 3 dogs?
with the three dogs, well, I eventually observed the three dogs in the backyard. I believe the structure of the situation with the three dogs there is that they have very established social group.
That does not include Missy.
Does not include Missy. There's the three dogs whose Jerry parents own. Jerry's residing in his parents' home, and they have these three dogs that are all adult, have been living together for a long time, and they have a very closed social group. And we introduced Missy, and she's not a dog person.
You think she's a people person, rather?
She has absolutely a people person dog, a strong-willed terrier, and in that, what Jerry has is a closed social group. He has adult dogs who've been living together for a reasonable period of time, and that's the situation in his house.
What's his plan? You said that you spoke to him before the dog came in. What was his plan?
His plan is to finish school, then to work for the fire department in the capacity as a paramedic. And my concern there was that in that capacity, it would take him away totally from his house for at least 10 days at a time, or maybe a week at a time. That was a concern of mine.
Well, I've heard what your conclusion would in all probability be, and that would be that since the plaintiff at this point is planning a career that would take him outside of the home for an extended period of time, since the dog is clearly a dog that relates better to people than it does to other animals, that the best interest of the animal, based upon that issue alone, would be to continue to reside where she does.
Well, can I add one thing here?
Sure.
Which doesn't get to the ultimate conclusion. When you introduce a dog of Missy's temperament, strong-willed, a dog who wants to have its own way, and you introduce it into an already established group, although we don't see any fighting, I'm wondering what it would do to the temperament of the dog.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. You're excused. Okay. Thank you. Jerry.
Yes, Your Honor.
You got to get another dog if you want a dog. Do you understand?
I understand why, Your Honor.
Well, I'm going to tell you why. You know, it's very difficult to make a decision with regard to this animal because this is not a pen, this is not a gavel, this is a creature that has feelings, that clearly has a social structure. Right? And it's very difficult for me, and I'm certain it's very difficult for any other judge to be put in a position of having to make a decision with regard to what I consider is a living, breathing thing that has emotions. They get sad, they are happy, they get depressed. You've seen that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Doctor says that you plan to start a career that's going to take you away from your home for a week or 10 days at a time.
It's not 10 days at a time, it's 10 days a month.
10 days a month. 10 days a month. And for that 10-day-a-month period, what do you intend to do with this dog?
I plan on hopefully being married at the time, or I lived with roommates previous, and they took care of...
That's iffy. Do you have a girlfriend?
Yes.
Have you discussed marriage with your girlfriend?
Not currently, no.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
It's everything I imagined.
Come to Wixford.
Gotten a really fair shake here in this courtroom. That dog clearly likes you. I mean, I saw that the last time we were here. I have to decide what's in the dog's best interest.
I thought your worries were that she would not get along with my dogs at my parents' house.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you listen very carefully to what the doctor said that there are 3 adult dogs in your parents' house that clearly have formed a family, a little pack. This dog is not a member of that group. Now, it's possible that if the dog was there for an extended period of time, the dog might become bonded and they might accept her into their family, right?
So,
that possible?
Yeah, it's
just
possible.
about the time you're ready to move. But right now, according to this expert witness, it was very, very helpful to me. This dog has a good home where the dog is comfortable, where the dog relates well to the other single dog that's there, where it's stable, and you're not. You're all over the place. So your case is dismissed, that's all.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy,